Good morning, my friends. This is Becky. Welcome back to my channel. On my channel, I am going through my good midlife crisis, where I am journeying through my 40s and I am working oh so hard to get my poop in a group. To do this, I'm working on my physical, my financial, and my mental health. And today is Friday, May the 3rd. Yeah, oh my goodness, y'all, it's May the 3rd. Today is Friday, May the 3rd, and we are going to be doing a financial health video. We are going to be budgeting out the money that you see above my head, which is more if you were here last week than I thought I was going to have. So I have $630.42 to budget today. This is not a paycheck week, so this is just a rollover from last week. If you are new, welcome. So excited you're here. Full warning and disclosure, I do tend to talk a lot. So I will be putting timestamps in the description below. I figured out how to do that last week on last week's video. So there will be like timestamps for this video, hopefully. Um, but also today, y'all, my allergies are just killing me. It is raining. It has been raining. So I had to go like buy the special behind the counter like allergy med yesterday. I'm just Ugh, I took a NyQuil last night. And if you remember, like a couple of weeks ago, I was super hyper. If you're not new, obviously, if you're new, you don't remember that. But if you're not new, welcome. Super excited you're here. P.S. It's only 7:11. So I have a couple extra minutes to talk to y'all, and I don't have a lot to budget. So I also don't have a lot to go over. But yeah, gave you so many updates last week. Anyway, I took a NyQuil a couple of weeks ago because my allergies were bothering me, and I slept so well that I was like super hyper focused in the morning. Today, I like it wore off. It around 3 o'clock. I woke up like that's how bad these allergies are. I actually thought I was getting sick around 3 o'clock, and I was like, oh no, please don't be getting sick. But then by the time I woke up, it was just allergies, just such bad allergies in Austin, and I have like pollen allergies, which I think is so ironic because I grew up in New Jersey, like in a literal forest. I grew up in a forest, and then I moved to Texas and developed pollen oak allergies, like tree allergies. And I know the trees are different down here and it's completely different, but it's just like I found it ironic that I grew up in a forest and now I have tree allergies. And I'm like, how did that happen? So for 20 years, I lived in a forest and my body was like, this is fantastic. And then I moved out of the forest and my body's like, trees are the worst. And I'm like, no, trees are the best. I love them. Anyway, hi. I ramble. I know none of that has to do anything to do with budgeting. So sorry, also sorry. I just wobbled you. Um, also sorry for that. That was probably pretty loud with this fancy new microphone I have. Um, so what I have this money from is, if you remember a while ago, I booked the Verbo for our trip to Washington. Nathan and I are going up to Washington for his son's graduation. If you're new, Nathan is my landlord slash like one of my very best friends. So it's not a romantic partner. So we don't share finances or anything. But I have been a part of his life and a part of his son's lives since they were very young. Alex had just turned 4, and Jaden was almost 6. I think he was turning 6. Yeah, he was about to turn 6, and Alex had just turned 4 when I met them. So now that Jaden is 18 and graduating high school, like the idea of not going to watch him graduate, he's graduating high school and he's graduating with an associate's degree. So he asked us to please come for his college walk. He's not going to walk for his high school graduation because he feels like he kind of finished that already last year. He's only been taking like 1 or 2 classes just to like finish up the credits he has to take. So he's like, I don't really care about that one. But I would like for y'all to come to my college graduation. So that's the one that we're going to go up for. It's in June. It's just over a month away from now. But I had booked my plane tickets, and then I had also booked the Verbo that Nathan and I are going to be sharing because I have celiac. And it was actually cheaper to get a Verbo, like an apartment, than it was to get a hotel room. And this one has a kitchen, and I can like bring some food or go get some food and make sure I'm safe. And like a little, like a living, it's an apartment. It has like a living room. So if the kids want to come and we can like hang out and visit or something because their mom lives there, And while Nathan and his ex are cordial because they have children, it's not like we were going to hang out with them. They're not besties. So that way we can have some space just to hang out. Plus, Nathan's parents are going to be there, and so they can come visit. So we're only going to be there for a couple of days. Anyway, whole point of the story is I had booked the Verbo and I've already paid it off. And I honestly totally forgot that Nathan owed me for half of it. And then I had owed him money for some car work that he had done on my car because he likes to tinker with mechanics and stuff. Not his job, he just enjoys doing it. And I'm like, saves me money, sure do it. And my car hit 100,000 miles recently, so I had a lot of stuff, a lot of car maintenance to do. So he did a lot of my car maintenance, and I booked the Verbo. And so we had put that both into Splitwise, and I totally forgot it was even in there. And he this weekend was like, "I'm just going to pay you back for that because I'm tired of looking at that money in there." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, sure, go for it." So I have an extra. It was like $290 he paid me back. Um, wasn't expecting that money in this budget this week, but I'm not mad, and I have a place to put it. At first, I was like going straight to my American Express card because I want to pay that off. But my American Express card is interest free until May of next year. So like I have a whole nother, or March, May. I have a whole nother year because it was an 18-month no interest financing and I've only had it for a couple of months. And it only has $1,200 on it. It's not like it doesn't have like $20,000. It only has $1,200. So I was like, you know what? I actually have things that I really want to put money away for that I haven't had any extra money because of all the stuff that's going on. Because my goodness, y'all, life just keeps throwing expensive stuff at me. Um, so anyway, I when we get to that portion of my budget, you will see where I decided to put that. Also, I did not end up going out with my mom and my sister last week. I put a little blurb in the video, but I know a lot of people just listen and don't watch it. So you may not have seen because by the time I was editing the video, they had like where my mom and my niece live, which is they're each about 45 minutes north of me, but like in opposite directions. So not opposite directions, but like one is east and one is west, but they're both north. So I'm like, it's like a triangle to get to us. Like it takes me about 45 minutes to get to where my niece lives. It takes me about 45 minutes to get to where my mom lives. And it takes my niece about 45 minutes to get to where my mom lives. So it's like a triangle. But where they live, oh my goodness. I talk with my hands so much. This microphone freaked me out so bad at work the other day. First, I banged my head on it. Then I turned my head and it was right there, and I forgot it was there. This was on Monday, and it scared me so much. I was like, oh. And I was on the phone with a coworker, and she's like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah, I forgot I had a microphone right next to my face, and it scared me." Anyway, because they had really bad weather on Friday. It didn't come here for some reason. It was supposed to, but it just skipped us. But they had like tornado watches, not just warnings, but tornado watches and torrential downpours and everything. My mom ended up rescheduling her eye doctor appointment, her follow-up for her surgery. So they didn't come in on that Friday. But y'all, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I had so many kind comments and messages, and it was just so nice. The reach out that everybody reached out about my sister because last Friday would have been my sister's birthday. She would have been 42 last week. Um, and I posted some pictures of us on Instagram if you're curious and want to see what she looked like. I did post some pictures of us on Instagram, and you can follow me. My Instagram is linked in the description box. But we didn't end up going out, but for some reason, this year was really hard for me. Like, if anybody has ever experienced grief, I'm sure you are aware and you're familiar. It's not always logical. Like, she passed in 2016. It'll be 8 years this year. It's been 7.5 years. And some days I'm fine. Most days I'm fine. Especially since I did therapy last year, y'all. If you're struggling, I did, and I found a therapist who specialized in grief therapy, and oh my goodness, she was amazing. And it was such a wonderful experience. It was my first experience with therapy, and I loved it. But anyway, sometimes I, even on birthdays and Christmases and anniversaries of things, like most of the time I'm fine now. Like it's just like, oh yeah, it would be nice. And we just remember her, and it's more like a happy memory. But sometimes, every once in a while, it just is like, a weight. And Friday was like a weight. Friday was so hard for me. Friday was so hard. So Nathan was like, let's just go. You and I will go. We'll go out for dinner. And we went to Longhorn Steakhouse. And so I did still manage to stay in my budget, y'all. I didn't go over budget, but that's the only meal I ate out this week because it was like on my whole budget. But I didn't have to take anything out of giving because I just paid for myself. But we went to Longhorn Steakhouse and we talked, and I'm serious. People probably thought he was breaking up with me because I just could not stop crying. And people are looking, but they're trying to like not look like they're looking because I know I do that too when you're in public and somebody's making a scene. I was not trying to make a scene. I was in my booth, and it's not like I was loudly sobbing. But there's a woman crying in a booth, like people are going to notice it. So I'm sure people thought that he was breaking up with me or something, but if you were at Longhorn Steakhouse in Cedar Park on Friday, I'm fine. It was just because of my sister. Nathan was actually amazing. He's so nice. Don't tell him I said that because it'll go to his head, but he is really amazing. And in my gratitude journal, I'm just gonna talk to y'all for 45 minutes. In my gratitude journal, actually, because spoiler, I do gratitude journaling now, because Clever Fox sent me this, and I have an affiliate link as well. I wasn't even gonna mention this today, but yeah, there's an affiliate link in my description box. But yesterday, the question was, I gotta find yesterday. Well, why don't I go to today, and then I can flip back to yesterday? That would help. Okay. So it asked, or maybe it was 2 days ago, like, what's the best part? What do I like most about my best friend? So this is like a weird question, I feel like, but it's not because once I started thinking about it, I was like, what is amazing? And I have two people that I consider my best friend. I have Ginny, who's been my best friend since literally the day I met her. She was like, you ever have that just instant connection with somebody where you're like soulmates, except for not romantically? That's me and Ginny. And Ginny will always be my best friend. But Nathan is also my best friend. So I'm sure like he's so supportive. He's the only reason that I can get out of debt at all because he gives me such low rent and helps me out. And he's the one who taught me initially how to budget. So I owe him a lot. Ginny is fantastic. But the thing that I like most about them, when I stopped and I thought about it, I was like, they are both so unquestionably supportive of me. I know no matter what is going on, they will have my back and they will be on my side no matter what. No questions. That doesn't mean they will always agree with me, though. And they will not, either of them, be afraid to tell me why they think I'm wrong and what I'm doing wrong and what I can do to better that. And I think that is important in a friendship. Doesn't mean they're not on my side, doesn't mean they don't support me and understand and love me. It just means that they recognize that I am not always right and I am not perfect. And I think that's important. And I don't know that everybody has that. I feel like a lot of people have yes men. At least that's what I see. Like, oh no, girl, it's not your fault. It's all him. It's all him. It's all his fault. Or, those people were just stupid and they don't know what they're talking about. Where if that were me and my friends, they'd be like, well, I mean, you kind of were a jerk, but whatever, let's just go somewhere else. Like, we don't need to go back there if they made you unhappy. If somebody was like, if we got into it, not that I ever do because I'm just non confrontational, but they would call me out and tell me what I had done wrong with my finances. Both of them have been very supportive and instrumental in helping me get on my feet financially because I've lived with both of them. I lived with Jenny for many years until she met her now husband and decided to move in with him. And then Nathan moved in, and now I've lived with him for like 10 years. So without them, I wouldn't be where I am. But the thing that I think I love the most about them is how supportive, unquestionably supportive. I have never once doubted that either of them was on my side. Never. But they'll still tell me when I'm wrong. And I need that. And I think everybody needs that. Um, so anyway, yes, there I was crying in a booth on Friday, and Nathan was just being unquestionably supportive. So, no, he wasn't breaking up with me. No, he doesn't beat me. I was just having a bad day, and he was being a really good friend. Um, okay, but I'm okay now. Like, it was the next day I woke up and I was like, okay, it's over. I feel better. So anyway, I'm gonna get into budgeting now, shall we? It's 7:24, so I've been talking to y'all for like 15 minutes about Just my life. My dog is doing so much better. Um, he is. I was able to get him to start eating his food. I bought they're little toppers. I'm gonna see when I pause, I'll try to go find them. I'll not try, I know exactly where they are. They're on my island. But I'll go find one and I'll bring it in to show you. It's like a little pouch of food that you just pour on top of their food. You can use it as a treat or you can use it as a topper. And I put it as a topper and I just split one between the two dogs. Like I don't give either of them a whole one. And there's so many different flavors, and I think that's a good thing for Emmett because I think he gets bored of eating the same thing. So, like I said, at first the hot dogs were good, and then I was trying to put like a little scoop of chili on there, and he liked that at first, and then he didn't like it, and then I put the fish oil, and then he stopped liking that, and I'm like, so this way, it's all mixed up, and I can give him different flavors, and there's only one I was like, this fat content is too high and this fiber content is too low, but all the rest of them have pretty low fat and pretty high fiber. So I was like, I'm gonna get these. And so that's how Emmett is doing. He's been eating his food, gobbling. He like goes to his bowl with his tail wagging now at dinner time. So if you are also struggling trying to get your dogs onto a feeding schedule, that works. Hang on, I'll be right back. I don't know if I mentioned, but I'm pretty startleable. And Nathan just got back from a walk with the dogs and came in through the garage because apparently it's raining and they're wet and he needed towels. But he knocked on the garage door because it's locked and startled me. I wasn't expecting it. Anyway, I figured I'd take the opportunity to shrink myself into the corner. So if you will notice, I am tiny now. But this is what I was talking about with the dog food. It's this is the brand name of like the HEB brand. So that's what I buy. They're 98 cents. So it is, it does add a cost to the price of feeding them, but if it gets him to eat his food on schedule, worth it. So, shall we budget? I have $630.42, and I am going to assign that into my categories. And this is YNAB. If you are not familiar, welcome. I love this app so much. This is stands for You Need a Budget, and they are not wrong. Everybody needs a budget. And I was watching back last week's video and I realized that I was talking about how money goes in and it was showing as overspent, but it wasn't really overspent. And while that makes complete sense to me, somebody who YNABs, and it might make sense to you if you YNAB, if you're not familiar with this app, that might not make sense. So this is not me moving money around in here does not do anything to my checking account or my savings account or anything. The money is in my bank. I don't touch it. I mean, obviously I spend it, but like from this is not me moving money around in any of my accounts. This is just me making a budget, making a plan, figuring out where I need my money to go and what I need it to do for me before I get more money, making sure all of my priorities are met and my bills are paid and everything like that. That's what this is. So I can move money from anywhere to anywhere without making any bit of a difference to my checking account. So when I was saying that the money had like it was saying it was come out, but I hadn't put it into YNAB yet. That wasn't because they had taken money out of my YNAB and I hadn't covered it yet. It's just because YNAB thinks that they had taken it out of my checking account, but I hadn't assigned money into that category in YNAB yet. That's why it was showing as red, but I wasn't worried about it. If it had taken it out of my checking account, I didn't have it in my checking account yet, I would have been worried. But that's not the situation here. If, as we go through, any of this looks interesting and you want to try it out, there is a link to try it for free for 34 days in my description box. No trial, no obligation. You don't enter any credit card information. You go in, you play around, you set up your own budget because personal budgeting is personal. So you have to make it work for you. Everything in here is adjustable to be however you want. You can rename these, you can move these, like, these are my categories. I named these. I put these emojis here. You don't have to do that if that's not what you want. You can move the category headers around so they're in a different order. I don't want to, but you can. I have it the way I like it. But you can go in and set up your own budget, mess around with it for 34 days, see if you like it. If you do and you sign up for it, you'll get an additional 30 days for free. And then so will I, because why not? We'll say, thank you, Becky, for referring me this awesome customer. Here's 30 days for free. And they will say, welcome, awesome customer. Here's another 30 days for free. So you get 64 days. I get 30 days. Everybody gets a budget that hopefully helps them get their finances in order as much as it's helped me. But if at the end of the trial you don't like it, you just stop logging in and it goes away. And they don't have your credit card information. They can't charge you. So there's no risk. Okay. It's 7:30. I guess that means it's budget time. Shall we? Every week, My budgets go from a Friday to a Thursday because I am paid on Fridays. So every Friday I come in here and budget. I am paid bi-weekly, but I've set up my budget to be a weekly budget because of these categories. I want to make sure, because in my brain, if I see a large lump sum of money, I'll spend it. Because I'm like, oh, look, I have $80 in my dining out category. Let's go spend $80. Really? That's supposed to last me 2 weeks. But my brain doesn't compute that way, which is why I've always had trouble with money. Um, and I heard Nikki at no, that's me, I'm good midlife. What's her name? Nikki at Midlife Adulting talking about, because she is starting her YNAB journey. If you want to watch somebody try to figure out YNAB, she is trying to figure it out. Um, so I'll link her channel below. But she said something that she saw on another channel where the person was checking their budget on the app, on the widget on YNAB on their phone before they went anywhere to see how much money they had in that category. And I realized that I have failed y'all and not telling you that that is like one of the best ways, because it's exactly what I do. That is how Why Now worked for me so well, I think, because I got in such a habit of checking to see how much money I had in my category instead of how much money I have in my checking account. And it is, if you watch the YNAB training videos, like if you go through the YNAB videos, which I did, and I guess that's just me assuming everybody watches all the videos. And I know not everybody does. Some people like to figure things out for themselves, which is totally cool. You got to make it work for you. And if that's what works for you, do it. But in the training videos, they tell you ignore what's in your bank account because all of that money has a job. And it's not all the job that you're going to do right now. So when you're going to the grocery store, you need to look at your budget and say, how much money do I have in my grocery budget? I have $5. Maybe I'd better be careful about what I buy. But you know what I have? I have $100 in here. I can go buy my groceries for the week. You look at your budget for that category and not your checking account, and that really helps focus your mind on how much money you have available to spend, because it doesn't matter if I have $5,000 in my checking account if $4,998 of those are scheduled to come out for other bills. I don't actually have $5,000. My bank just thinks I do, but I don't, because I've got rent and I've got electricity and I've got the credit card payment and I've got the car payment and I've got all this other stuff that needs to come out that I am not thinking of when I am at Chipotle wondering if I can buy this burrito bowl. So, at least me personally. So that really helped change my mindset. And so if this is something that you're trying out and you're like, it's just not working for me because it's not doing anything, and if you're not doing it that way, try doing it that way. Check your app. And I always have my app on my phone and I try to enter my transactions before I leave the store. I've gotten worse about that lately. But that is how I like to do it. Like try to keep up with it and enter them as I'm doing it. As I'm at the restaurant eating my dinner, I'll put in how much my dinner was. So make sure I don't forget to enter that. So what I do is I give myself $40 every week for dining out instead of $80 every 2 weeks. I give myself $100 every week for groceries. I give myself $10 every week for fun money, and this will just build up. There's $60 in here now. And I use this for whatever I want. When I go to the movies, I'll buy popcorn with it. Um, if I want to go, like the Renaissance Fair is over here now, but I used it to go to the Renaissance Fair to buy my tickets. Fun things that are not necessarily in my budget, but they're fun for me. And I only get $10 every week, so it's $20 a paycheck. I was using it on coffee. Spoiler, most of this money, most of the reason that this is only $60 now is because it had been built up. I was just spending it on coffee until I tried to get my coffee under control. Ecclesial expenses, I give myself $80 every 2 weeks. So I'm not, my church is doing high this week, which is our campground that we own. And we're supposed to go out there, but I was talking to my mom and she and my nephew drives my mom around. My mom's 77. And she just had cataract surgery, but she doesn't really drive very much. My nephew drives her most of the places. I have awesome nephews and niece. I'm the best people. Um, Anyway, he drives her everywhere. And so he was like, I don't really feel like driving out there this weekend, Grandma, and I have something I have to do on Sunday afternoon. Um, because he does like a part-time setup work for some friends of his, like that run a flea market. So he's got to help take that down on Sunday afternoon. He's like, I don't really feel like driving out there. Um, let's just stay here. And so I'm like, okay, fine, I will go in there. So I'm going to my mom's church on Sunday. which means I probably won't need this full 80. Like, and for sure, I won't need the full 80. Plus, there won't be a meal afterwards, so we'll probably go out. But so I'm going to leave it here. I'll probably put some of the money in the collection, and then I'll take them out for lunch, and that'll be my ecclesial expenses. That'll be what I do. Normally, it's $20 for the meal and $60 for the donation, but this is an off week. Next week will be different too because next week is Mother's Day, but we'll talk about that next week. Coffee, as previously mentioned. I have a Dutch Brothers. Actually, I don't think I mentioned Dutch Brothers, but I like coffee, I like iced coffee. I am making it at home most days, but I let myself go 2 or 3 times a week, but I have to stay within my budget. $25 a week is my budget. Sorry, I'm hitting this desk and it's making my computer rock. Okay, so gas and self-care I only fill on paycheck weeks. That's not this week. This is actually all I have to fill for my my weekly expenses. Gas was so expensive. I had some extra in here, and then I actually had to cover like an extra dollar or something. What did I? Let's go back. I don't want to go there. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go to April. Gas, yeah. I had to put another $1.18 in there so to cover because gas was so high. But it's still, my car was empty, like my light was on. So that was a full tank of gas was just $26. So not super expensive. And my car is not very big. I drive a little Kia Soul. Okay, so that's all of this. I do have two bills I need to fund. Um, oh, y'all, I didn't make my credit card payments last night. I was so tired. I went to wine Thursday last night. I haven't done that in months, and it was so nice to go see my wine lady friends. Um, but because of that, I guess I forgot to make my credit card payments. But I can go make my credit card payments, and I will do that when we are done here. Mattress Firm is due on the 21st, which is not till the end of the month. American Express is on the 26th. That's my American Express card. So Mattress Firm is a credit card that has zero interest financing. I financed a mattress. I did not realize it was a credit card when I signed up for it. I thought I was just doing like a line of credit. But when you put credit cards into YNAB, it puts them in as credit cards. So this is under the credit card section. American Express is an actual credit card that I use. It also has zero interest financing. So the only times you will see me leave balances for now and hopefully forever, but at least for now, the only time you will see me leave balances is if it's on a zero interest card. Otherwise, everything else gets paid off every week, normally on Thursday nights, but apparently I forgot to do it last night. So I paid one. I know I paid my PayPal MasterCard. But I guess I just do the rest of them. I was like, okay, that one's done. Um, so the rest of my payoff every week just to keep the balances at zero. What I am going to do. Oh, wait, I need to do my bills. I just passed my bills. There's credit cards. Where are my bills? Did I shrink them? Did I move them? Why is my once a month all the way down there? Okay, that's supposed to be there. See, you can move stuff very easily. But if you move it accidentally, you gotta go find it. Okay, my mom's insurance is done and my car insurance is done. Those both came out on the 1st. YouTube Premium, I have YouTube Premium on my personal channel. That is $15.14 every month. And then Aflac is my supplemental cancer insurance policy. That is $37.57 every month. I don't have fancy targets yet. What did you do to get them, Kaylee? What did you do? How did you get them? Let me know, because I want them. They haven't come to me yet. I still have the old ones. Apparently YNAB updated their targets and they haven't updated them for me yet. So I don't know. Those are my only two bills that I have. And then with the money, oh, look at that. I am putting extra money on American Express. With the money that Nathan paid me for his part of the Verbo, I am going to be fully funding my license renewal because I want to just get that done with. Like my driver's license is due to renew this year. And it's only $40. So I'm going to put my $13.10 in here to get this to $40. And then I'm going to go online and renew my license this afternoon. So that's done. I am going to put $75 into my vacation fund to get this to $200 because I have a trip coming up in a month and I want to put some more money in here. And then I am going to go up to giving and into donations. I'm just going to put this straight into donations. $200 into donations to cover my ice ball. Ice ball is the Big Brother Big Sister fundraiser that I go to every year with my friends. And this year I would like to be a little bit prepared and have some money set aside. Um, this will cover my ticket and the beginning of something. But I like to make a donation. This picture here is one that I got at Ice Ball last year. That is a drawing of me, an artist rendering of me in my dress from last year. I have every year I have such a great time, and it's for such a great cause. It's for the Big Brothers Big Sisters of Central Texas. So I do try to do something. I'm not going to try to go overboard. I want to try to remind myself that I am, as Michael at Midlife Money Moves said, what did he say? I can't remember the exact quote, so sorry, Michael, if I'm misquoting you. But basically, it was, I need to do less now so I can do more later. And I was like, I like that. I need to rein myself in now so that once everything is under control, not that I'm not under control, but once everything is paid off and I have more money, I can do more later. And that's what I want to do. Because if I'm doing too much now, it's going to take me forever to get to where I can just go and be like, here's $1,000. Here, have it. Take it. I'm never going to get there if I'm constantly nickel and diming myself, like trying to do $10 here and $50 there. I'd rather do nothing now and a lot in a year or two when I can. So, but that doesn't mean I want to do nothing now. I want to do something. I'm just going to try to keep it under control. So this will buy my ticket and the beginning of something. So I'm going to start saving for that. That's it for this section. And then I did say I was going to put an extra $30 toward my American Express card. So there we go, $30 toward that. And then that leaves me $4.61 to roll into next week. Next week I'll have a paycheck, so don't worry. So there right here, I have a next week category, $4. I put plus 461. It's important to put the plus, otherwise it'll just replace the number that was there with that number, and that won't be good. So now I have 461 to go to next week. When you come back next week, it will be this money, anything that was left over in my ecclesial, and then my paycheck, and that's what we'll budget next week. It's 7:43. I have time to go make breakfast. I'm so excited. Okay, y'all. I hope you're having a fantastic day. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Again, I know I'm chatty. Thank y'all for sticking with me and listening and being so supportive. Like for serious. I love y'all. I really appreciate you. Um, I think that's everything I have. I will talk to y'all later. Bye.